and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Still Save Show, where we sit down with some of the coolest and dopest people on the planet who have remarkable stories of change and transformation. I like to call them dope guys.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that. That's what I love. Talk that talk.
But man, today is unique because I really feel like this is a divine moment. I don't throw that around loosely.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hallelujah. Yes, sir.
Because we actually just met.
Yes.
We just met. We've been following each other on social media for a while.
Yep.
Not even from Houston. Everybody knows how much I love this city. It's the greatest city in the world.
Hey, man.
Look.
I'm a rock with that.
Hey, okay, cool.
That's right.
Usually when I meet folks from Brooklyn, I get
All
into
the
heat
time.
arguments.
Yeah, you're the second person that told me that, but I know the truth.
Yes. I love Brooklyn, by the way.
Yeah.
Always very well received when I'm in New York. But man, so DuQuan Brown, Aaron Bolden, you know what I'm saying? You guys have been doing some phenomenal stuff all across the country, across the world. I've had a chance to get to know you guys briefly. I didn't want to know too much because I wanted this to just be organic.
I love that.
But man, thank y'all for coming to the city. And what brings y'all out to Houston?
Well, we came out here because one of our business associates, which is a dear friend of mine and family member of DuQuan, is shooting a film here. So we came out here to support and discuss other business for the Wealthflix movement that we're, basically on right now. We just came off the Wealthflix Conference, which was a success, May 20th and May 26th. So, in support of the movie and also, us getting in the same room planning. And we came here to do your podcast.
That's right. I mean, come on. That was the answer.
Around the world.
That's the real reason.
Look,
That's
man,
right.
I just want to say
I'm
humbled, I'm honored
Oh, man, that's
to
dope.
be in y'all's presence.
Dope.
And,
Yes, sir.
And, for you to say something like that is super, super dope.
I want to thank you, man, for highlighting our success, man.
Yeah.
What we're doing with Wealthflix and the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
That's important to us, and I want to thank you for that, giving us this opportunity, especially when it has anything to do with the Lord and Savior.
Yeah, come on. Let's hit that note. He got to hit that
Yes,
note.
sir. I always got to make sure I get that in there.
And I feel like it's my duty, man. I feel like I'm called to be able to bridge that gap. There's no, I'm not a firm believer of the whole separation of church and state.
There you go.
Through my vast research or stalking abilities on y'all's IG pages, I see that there's no compartmentalization. It's not like Jesus is over here and business is over here.
No way.
Family is over here.
Impossible.
It's just a part of it.
Yeah, there you go. He's within us, all of us.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's our choice to understand what that power is and tap into it. And that's some of my purpose in teaching the next generation. Just know the power, because it comes from somewhere. So everything is possible. Anything you want to do, you can do.
Man,
Period.
Y'all are living examples of that because you're killing it. And I definitely want to get into Wealthflix, Future Media, because those are organizations and movements that have been blowing my mind since I've been introduced to them, especially in the music industry. I've had the privilege of working with some of the coolest people here in the city. Some of y'all, man. Do me a favor. Before we get started, we talk about how amazing God is. Just share with us a little bit of some of the cool people you guys have had the privilege of working with, and then we'll kind of journey into the Wealthflix movement.
Yeah, well, I started out back in Brooklyn, as a teenager, like 18.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes gave me my first shot.
Come on.
And I was a road manager for his cousin named Rampage, the last Boy Scout, who I admired and always understood and loved his work ethic. His work ethic was tremendous. So I started out as a road manager for him, ended up managing Busta Rhymes by just doing a dedicated, disciplined job at a road manager first. So I was carrying bags and checking in artists, not managing the business, doing that first. So I was the road manager for Rampage first, and then through that effort, I became Busta Rhymes' manager. So he said, hey, I want you to go on the road with me. Then he introduced me to some of my mentors, Mona Scott and Chris Lighty, God bless the dead. But Chris Lighty is a legend. And I got tutelage in 160 Varick Street. That was Rush Communications. That was the name of it. That was Russell Simmons' label, everything involved in it, inside of Def Jam. So that's where I got my start from. Busta Rhymes and mentors from Chris Lighty and Mona Scott, people like that in the business. That led me to start working with Tyrese Gibson. And I did that for 6.5 years. Incredible experience. He taught me the power of a no is not possible.
Come on.
Everything is possible. There's nothing that we will not do and that he hasn't done. Anything he sets his mind to, he has accomplished. And, that was a great trait to learn from him. I was on that path anyway.
Come on.
Just period. But, to have another soldier with me that understood that, it meant a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I managed Tyrese Gibson for 6.5 years. I did that effectively. We parted ways. And then I just decided to retire.
Just decided to retire. You know what I'm saying?
I just decided that,
there's a lot of people out there right now want to know, like, when can I just decide to retire?
I mean, listen, after 24 years in the game, I'm 49 years old. I put that work in. I did my
where the gray at, dog?
Service.
There's no gray. I don't mean to cut you off.
Hey, listen. Hey, let me give you some more hope. Hey, listen, just a little just for men. You dib a dab here. You dib a dab there.
Because I got more grays than you.
Goes away, baby. I mean, it's just about an attitude and the way that you want to feel, right? So, with that said, I put that work in for 20-something years in the music industry. Been there and done that, and I did my service there. So in retirement, I just wanted to step back, but still service my colleagues, right? And that's when we formed Future Media, because I dove straight into the tech world.
Come on.
And I understood the power of audience from dealing with entertainers. Why? Because when we used to say, show up to Tower Records, we would have a line around the block. When we would say, hey, come to this concert, the concert would sell out. I understood what the power of that client's or that artist's voice was. So it was easy when I got into the tech and they wanted audience. So I just bridged the gap between my colleagues and Fortune 500 companies for that Facebook era when it was clickbait and all the promotions directly to the audience. That was influencer marketing.
Right.
That's when that became huge, where you communicate, where us as consumers, we believe and we want to idolize the people we like. What Tyrese is wearing, I want to wear. And what
just no shirt.
There you go. There you go, right? And that's why we work out. And that's why we doing push-ups on this, to look like that.
Gym after this.
There you go. And I mean, our inspiration come from many different people and cultures and things. So with that said, influencer marketing hit the game and the advertising world, and it kind of like changed the landscape. And I was happy to usher in over 200 Facebook pages, and that's where this gentleman, Aaron Bolden, business development for Future Media, that's when our path crossed, and we just took it to completely the next level for that industry, and then we decided to, conquer that and just move on with our own source of business conference. But I'll let Aaron.
I was gonna say, man, because Aaron,
By the way, he's been restrained the whole time.
Oh yeah, I ain't got nothing to
normally.
Oh, I know.
Let him go. You gotta let tell the story.
I didn't even begin though, but
you were the one who actually reached out initially. We've been following each other on IG for a little bit, and so it gave me an opportunity to learn more about Future Media and the Wealthflix Conference. Seeing y'all kicking with folks like Magic and and just a lot of powerhouse entrepreneurs, which is something that's very near dear to my heart. I started my first business in college. A lot of the listeners already know it was a class project.
Wow.
I turned that class project into a multi-million-dollar business.
Wow.
But Aaron, dog, tell me this, man, because you work with some powerhouse folks as well, man, and you're out there killing it. And do me a favor, share with us a little bit about some of the amazing experiences that you've had the privilege of experiencing, and then we'll jump into some of the other stuff.
Well, first off, I started off as a music artist. I used to rap. And, I ended up writing for different artists, being in the background. And then I always had a thirst of just to learn what the music business was like. So I applied in junior high school for a program where you can end up working as an intern for a record label. So I ended up working at BMG. So from BMG, I was able to see the functionalities of the music business behind the scene while being a music artist, and always being out at different functions and events and meeting artists like Ice Cube and Ice-T and E40s and the Wu-Tang Clan, and being around all of these different artists. I was able to understand how it is to be a superstar, but then how the business functions.
Yes.
So from being a music artist, I was always in the mix, and my personality, I come into the room, it's not that I want to be known, it's just like I can't help but to give energy. So I was always
the God in him.
That's the God in me. And I would just put people together and do deals. Hey, Aaron, I want to meet RZA from Wu-Tang to do my single. So I would hook that up, get a little money, and never thought of it as being a business until I was DuQuan sat me down, and a few other mentors of mine, used to drop, little tokens in my ear, like, you need to turn this into a business. And, being the person that I am, I'm always looking to do something new, especially when something is going south. Because the way I saw hip hop, where it was going, where it's at now, as far as like with the shoot 'em up, bang bang, and all that stuff after the death of Tupac and Biggie, which I was at Biggie's, I was at that event, and that just changed my whole perspective of like, I was like, what, this music stuff, I'm good. Let me focus on what I feel like God put me here for, which was to bring people together, and eventually have some type of impact on hip hop, or just in music general, or kids, because hip hop attracts a lot of kids. So from there, man, when I went into the management phase, I managed a producer who sold over 300 million records.
So let me get this right. You went from the artist to manager. I love that.
Went into artist into management. Ended up working with Daymond Elliott. Daymond Elliott took me up under his wing. I was A&R at a rock label, so I never stayed only in the hip hop space.
Yeah, okay.
I love the rock space.
I love it.
And I brought a check to Daymond, and Daymond is, God rest his soul, Whitney Houston passed. That was his cousin. He called me midnight. I'll never forget. After Whitney passed, he said, "I fired everybody. You're the only one that's believed in me. You're my manager." And I was like, "Okay." And from there I learned how to do contracts. Him and Daymond are the same way. Okay, you got the deal. You're gonna do the contract. Well, what about the attorney? No, you just need to learn. You do it. Get Google. So I was able to, I've met a lot of celebrities.
We had ChatGPT back then.
Exactly. And I haven't, I just started. I've never really used that. A friend of mine showing me how to use it, but what I want to say is what's great about it is that I was able to learn what it takes to be an artist, the functionalities of the label, and then how you put a deal together from black and white and get it to the end and not be cut out. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what happened with me. So working with all the artists, there's probably no artist I haven't been in a room with, worked with, or made money with. Which is a total blessing. So just to fast track everything, music artist to intern to now business development for Future Media. When Future Media started, DuQuan was, telling me about, the new phase of the Facebook pages and clickbait and all of this stuff. And I just started bringing pages and, seeing how, basically the power of social media. So, doing campaigns with the Amazons and the Nikes and the Khloe Kardashians and stuff like that, driving traffic, brand awareness. I found a passion for that. To, just basically put the eyes on something that's not only super popular, but positive, because we're very selective about the campaigns that we do. So that's where we're at right now.
It's a good position to be in when you get to be selective about the folks you get to work with.
That's for sure.
When you're not out there desperate, hungry, and thirsty trying to secure the next deal, but you can be very intentional. It makes you more missional. Focused, right?
I would agree.
You know what the call is. But you hinted and alluded at this a number of times, future media. And you talked a little bit about how you've been able to secure these wins for your clients. Can one of you guys just share with me briefly about exactly what is at the heart of Future Media and how it all came to be?
Well, Future Media is a marketing company. We control over 750 million eyeballs on the Facebook platform. We have over 200 celebrity pages that we operate and control. So say, for instance, like, this podcast. We could take this particular content and share it with our celebrity influencers and get instant instant responses from their audience. Unlike Instagram, even though we do market with Instagram and all streaming platforms, if you notice when you post on Facebook or anything, it's immediate. And not only that, we're able to target market, because when you opened up your Facebook pages, you told us all about you, who your girlfriend was, who your grandma, where you went to school, what music you listened to. So all of that is data that we have, and we're able to target market. So that's basically what Future Media is. It's a marketing brand awareness company.
The birth of it came from myself understanding the audience and the power of what that is. That's why the name is Future Media. This was the future of media.
Come on.
Right? So let's make sure. Back in those days, it was just about music. Streaming was just about to come out and hit big. Right? So that's when the idea came about, what's the next phase of media? And so me and my business partner, Chase Wimberly, we formed Future Media. Right?
I love it.
And then from that, we already had the relationships. Right? And then it was, once again, being of service. I knew something that my colleagues did not. And they trust me because I understood what they were going through as a manager. As a manager, you are in service, complete 100, not 100, 200% of that client. I live and breathe my clients when I service them, because that's what you're doing. So they understood that I knew what servicing was, so they trust me. So when I tell them that I'm going to pay them $30,000 a month for the next 3 years, as long as we are able to advertise on a Facebook page where they have 10 million followers, and I'm going to make sure that the brands that are coming to me, I'm not going to put nothing that's going to go against your brand, your audience. See, that was the problem with certain clients or other pages. They would put things on there that fans didn't like, or audience was like, why is this on this page? This is not brand conscious. I don't even like that. So with
then what
us,
it does is it creates this distrust between you and your community, your audience.
And really they don't care. I mean, the Fortune 500 companies, they just want to get to a consumer. But if you're advertising on an artist or an entertainer's page, you have to be conscious of that audience, right? So that was what I was good at, right? Letting brands, big brands, Fortune 500 companies know, not this page. This is what we will do on this page. Yes, it's the right audience. We can target market, but for the face of it, it's not a cohesive fit. So that's what started Future Media. And I mean, 8 years later, it's a great tool in business, because I think our commodity in this world is trust. I think we have brand trust when it comes to Future Media, of doing what we say we're going to do.
That's key, man. I think in the world of marketing too, when you think about it, yes, attention arbitrage is important. Like it's one thing to have millions of eyeballs, but when you have millions of trustworthy, loyal,
there you go.
Because you want to create brand loyalty, right? To get people to come back and come back and come back. You try something one time, and the moment you mess up that relationship, or there's some sort of disconnect, you've lost that customer.
And another thing is, like, one thing that it is about being selective, but I think that you have to have some type of foundation. As far as what I mean selective about, like, campaigns that we do, you have to have some type of foundation. Like, what do you want to leave? What kind of impact do you know? What kind of, because we have the power to push something in front of the eyeballs and kind of affect you psychologically, right? So it's like we want to be careful about the content that we push, because myself, Chase, and DuQuan, we have a foundation of, like, family. We think of our kids, our kids. We think about your kids. What is this content going to do, and how is it going to affect the masses? So I think, like, that's one thing that's what we stand on. We've had artists come with hundreds of thousands of dollars, like, yo, I need to push this music video to the millions. And it's like, I got keys, shoot them up, bang, bang, and F your mama. And it's like, I'm sorry. So I feel like us as a company, we're rooted in that.
Man. So that's actually why we're here, man. Because you know how I get down. I love talking about branding, marketing, entrepreneurship. Like I said earlier, this is a very special place in my heart for young entrepreneurs, but that faith component, man. And there's a very strong purpose and calling behind what you guys do. Leveraging that attention for good, having a strong calling, right? That doesn't just come out of nowhere. So do me a favor, take me back. Take me back to Brooklyn. Take me back, because right now it looks great, man. It looks great. You look great. You know, the people you work with, it sounds amazing. You're able to reach millions of people for good. We're here at the Royal Sonesta here in this great city of Houston. Just to support friends, like, it's amazing, right? But I'm pretty sure that it hasn't always been this pretty.
Oh, no way. It never starts like this. we just know how it's going to end.
Ooh.
That's the most important thing. It never starts the way y'all see it.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
We just understand the way we want it to look, and it will look. And that's the power of growing up. It didn't happen like this. I lost my mother at a very young age. I lost my father when I was 12, and I lost my mother when I was 16.
Jeez.
Remember, this is Brooklyn. I'll give you another sheets. I lost my mother on December 24th. My firstborn was born on December 23rd. So the Lord did not play with me at all. Remember, 12, 16, I lost my father when I was 12. I lost my mother when I was 16. 4 years later, age of 20, I had my first baby girl.
Yeah.
So God showed me that I give life on the 23rd, and I take life on the 24th, but Jesus is resurrected on the 25th.
Come on.
So at a young age, I understood that this was beyond me, right? So I went through a lot of trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
You know, just finding myself, lashing out against family members, you know, teachers, you know, that I didn't listen to.
Yeah.
You know, that I prayed and, you know, and had reconciliation. Because as a kid, when you have no guidance, no parents, and you in public school, 8 hours a day, that's where you spend the most of your time. That's why kids end up mischievous. We don't have the right guidance. And then, you know, the people that we can relate to inside of those schools, you know, it's far and few between in public schools, you know. So outside of that, you know, lashing out as a kid, doing mischievous things, but never getting into real trouble, you know, never been locked up, you know. I was afforded not to go through that kind of pain, you know, but I feel it was angels because it wasn't like I wasn't doing the dirt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just had angels watching over me and always protected me.
Yeah.
So I understood that. So growing up in Brooklyn, it was the best and the worst for me.
It gave me, you can make it there.
There you go. You can make it anywhere. It gave me that resilient spirit. Like I always knew I was going to end up here, right where I'm at. So at that young age, just going through all.
How did you know though? I don't mean to interrupt, but like, was it something that was like, did you just feel it? Was that imparted to you by maybe like people that were placed in your life at strategic moments? Like, how did you know that you was gonna be here? And as somebody who lost their mom and their father at a young age, you know, subject to this, you know, just on streets of Brooklyn, like, what was it that kept you?
December 23rd, 1999. That's when my baby girl was born.
Yeah.
That's when I knew I was clear. Because I was miserable. I lost my mother 4 years. So at the age of 20, that's when I knew exactly where I was going because God gave me life.
Yeah.
He gave me my baby girl.
Come on.
So on the 24th, so I was always miserable for 4 years around the holidays. Everybody celebrated. So when my baby was born, that's when I knew I was destined. Why? Because it's my first child. It's a girl.
Something about them girls.
There you go. And I love my mama.
Come on.
You know, my mama is everything to me. So
Yeah.
when I had my baby girl, that's when I knew that God's hand was on me. And I understood. That's why my tattoo says, I belong to a great God across my chest.
Yeah.
I belong. You see the word belong?
Yep.
I knew exactly who I belonged to. And that was that great God.
Man, so I'm just intrigued, man, as you talk, man.
Yes.
Did you always have a God awareness as a kid? What was that moment like when you fully realized that, oh snap, what was that encounter like?
It was worst. Yeah, it was the worst encounter because I was forced to go to church.
Okay.
So in my family, my brothers and me, we went to church. They dragged us to church.
Drug baby.
Drug baby. There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Drug baby. They took us to church. They put it in us.
So that God awareness was there. The seed had been planted.
What? It's the see. I understand frequency, right? So when you in that church. And it, whether you're a child or not, that frequency, that music, those hymns, it does something to your inner soul, whether you're a child. So it's like embedding in you what is already connected to you, and which is Christ. So you're never going to not go back. But I had to get there first. So I was drugged there by my grandmother first, and then my aunt and my mama. So it was in the family that the Lord was always first. We listened to gospel music. I used to hate gospel music. I need to hear some Roxanne right now.
And now you can't stop singing. He was in there brushing his teeth.
Oh, listen, I get prepared. Listen, I need to come. I come with the new day arrival because it's important to stay in tune with what that is. So I come into any situation with the Lord first.
Come on.
You're going to see it or hear it, or at least I know you're going to feel it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I definitely feel it, man, from the moment I met you. The energy was infectious. Over the phone, the energy was infectious. He was just like, don't worry, I got some stories, man. No, that's impressive, though. It's crazy because, losing parents so early, your life could have went a totally different direction. Right. You like you said, especially growing up in Brooklyn, we've all heard the stories. We know what it's like to grow up in New York, especially in Brooklyn. It's like, hey, the only way out is to sell rocks or you know what I'm saying, or basketball, right? Like those are the cliches that we hear that's propagated on the media, right? But to hear that God's hand kept you. Give me one practical thing, because Aaron, I see you itching over there, bro.
No,
I'm dying.
I feel God.
I just got one more thing to ask, though. Like I'm such a
take your time, man. I want him to tell his story because I want everybody to understand what this is.
Yes.
Like this is not just two gentlemen sitting down, and I'm going to be able to kind of connect it when you ask me, because I want he's never shared this on camera. He doesn't do interviews. So I told him before this, I said, when I reached out to you, I told him months ago, I said, we're going to get on this podcast after the Wealthflix, because this man knows how to ask the questions, and he has a platform that's built where it's connected business and God. That's what he stands for.
Yeah.
Like there isn't one or the other with him.
Right.
And it's like church every Sunday. Anybody following his Instagram, you go to his story, he do the same thing.
Look, frequency, right? Frequency. Bro, I'm telling you. I have to preach a sermon tomorrow, man, and I'm thinking about calling it.
You got church?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we coming.
Come through. Yes, it's going down. Well, I ain't gonna give you too much there, but I'm thinking about calling it breakthrough is boring.
I love that.
Because we always talk. We think about breakthrough being this grand idea. It's the unveiling of the new Rolls Royce, or it's the unveiling of the painting, or it's the weight loss. But truth be told, the breakthrough happens in the day-to-day grind.
There you go.
It happens in the brushing your teeth. It happens in waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then next thing you know, a year down the road, they think, oh my God, it's an overnight success. When really it was an every night.
There you go. Hello.
You know what I'm saying? So breakthrough was boring.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the boring things. Which brings me back to...
I'm curious to see what he says about that question he asked for you. Go ahead.
So God kept you, right? But practically speaking, what did he use to keep you?
Family, friends.
There we go.
Yeah, it was the guide rails for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My best friend would not let me stray too far. Right? It's the people around you that just knock you right back where you're supposed to be. And then you don't know it. Right, so this is only in hindsight, because when you live in it, you don't know. That's why it's so important to service the next generation because they just don't know.
Yeah.
So this is in hindsight. So when I used to listen to my best friend and be mad at it, or it's a welcome distraction from whatever I'm going through, just someone to talk to. So that was it for me. That was the practicality of really just living life, right? Because it was just going. I did not know until I turned 20 what it was going to be. But at the age of 16, when you have that traumatic experience where you can either stay in the streets or you can, understand your calling.
Yeah.
And just figure out what that purpose is, or just seek more.
Yeah.
At that time, I was seeking everything, right? Because I lost everything, right? So I'm
reaching for a lifeline.
Yeah, I'm
Like it's like being in the ocean
misled.
trying to find something to hang on to.
I'm easily misled. I could have been in a gang. I could have been in a
But it's
criminal
people who
organization.
have gone through a lot less that have ended up on worse paths.
Right on.
Right? You had every reason to quit throwing the towel or just go off.
Yeah, and I want to let them know that's some of the reasons that I agreed to do this podcast, because my story is about the Lord. I can't get on here and tell you anything else but what happened to me for real.
Yeah.
So this is the best outlet for me to be able to really share. Other interviews and places may not be as open to me really telling the truth.
Yeah.
The truth is heavy. I'm talking about losing two parents, 12 and 16, going through trials and tribulation, escaping the rough stuff.
Yeah.
Not saying that I'm not doing it. I did it all.
Yeah.
Right? Escaping that and then paying attention. If anything I want the next generation to take from me, it's just pay attention to all, people call it signs. I just say pay attention to as you live. Listen to that voice.
Yeah.
There's both voices, but but listen to that voice.
You gotta discern.
Yeah, there you go. You gotta have, because it's the devil on one side and there's God on the other side. I always say go with your gut, your first instinct. Do it first. Oh, I shouldn't do that. Don't do it. If just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Right? But that's very hard as a young and mature person growing up. So I try to level that playing field and always keep it real with them. That's why I'm in service of the next generation.
Man, that's powerful, man. That's so powerful. Aaron, man, when did you come into the picture, bro? Like, like, how did y'all meet, man?
We met years ago when I was rapping back in the day.
Yeah.
I was rapping, so I was working with friend. Well, I actually used to go in and out of his office, with Tyrese's office on Coanga. So I used to see him, but we never really engaged. We started really engaging when he did a TV show, I Manage a Celebrity.
Okay.
And I was on the show. I was managed by a manager named Steve Lobel.
Before you became, this is back in the artist days.
This is back in the artist days.
Okay, all right, cool.
Chains,
Yeah.
the Vins, girls, and a lot of my story started, I feel like God was working on us, but revealing things about my characteristics that he was analyzing over the years. To up to this point to where we're at now. It's like we have a great brotherly relationship, but it's like I listen to him.
Yeah.
And I'm very open and honest with him. Like if I'm off, I'm not gonna come up with a story and create this whole entire story of why I'm off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and this, like just to rewind a little bit back, I didn't have my dad.
Yeah.
My dad left my mom when I was 2. I was raised by a single parent mother, came from Michigan when I was 2. I'm a mama's boy. I'm a middle child, older brother, younger sister, super emotional, super, like loving my mom, to the point to where, like she would leave and go to work and I'd be out, standing by a window crying and stuff like that. But then having the questions, back in the early 90s, it was like, where's my daddy? Or why my daddy leave? Why you ain't a good mommy? Like that was me, because I always wanted to like have that manly connection. So I ended up.
Did you never ever know who your father was?
My pops came around when I was like 15 or 16.
Okay.
15 going on 16. Funny, he had on all white when he walked in the door. I love my dad. Me and my dad, we cool to this day. But, you know, not having a father, I was subjected to all of the things that, you know, these young kids probably go through, which is being in a gang. A gangbang. You know, I grew up in LA, you know, in the heart of, you know, the Crenshaw District, Washington and Gramercy, right there. You know, but I've always, you know, what they call the bigger homies would always say, you know, it's something special about you. Because, you know, I would always be talking and, you know, studying and reading things, and I got what was called knowledge of self, 5%, so I started reading that. So now I'm balancing gangbanging, selling drugs, going to high school, killing the high schools and stuff, because I knew, you know, Columbus didn't discover America and all this other stuff that they would. So I'd be, you know, I was one of those kids, very just gifted by self-taught knowledge in acing LA Unified School District distributed knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So like, crazy. You know, all of that was a melting pot from, I feel like, where I'm at now. You know, and you know, going through that, I was able to, I'd have to be honest with you on this podcast. That's why I got a little bit like, kind of like, I sat with the devil. Like, I've been there. I've been like right there, like with these demonic forces and allowing them to lead me and thinking God left me. You know what I'm saying? By accepting certain things that would come with, whether it was drinking, drugs, partying, selling drugs, you know, being in fights.
Give me an age, give me like a range. Like
13 years old, you know, started gang banging, you know, really started walking away from it when I was like 16, 17, because when my dad started coming around, my grandfather is a famous saxophone player, signed to Motown, Junior Walker. When he passed away, they did a big special on BET, and I said, "Oh," my mom was like, "You don't remember being at the house in Malibu?" And I'm like, "No." Soon as I found out that Junior Walker was my grandfather, I had a Jerry curl too.
What? We need pictures of this.
I'll try to dig up some pictures. Man. I had a Jerry curl. I used to wear the Dickies, Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
I had the
we got the best of the East Coast and the West Coast, right? And
it's like
Third Coast, baby. You know what I'm saying?
So think about this. Like, I'm gonna sew it up to where we at now, and it's like, bang! I stopped gangbanging immediately. So the reason why was because I said I'm from royalty. That's it. I knew my history, and it was like, you know, that's one of the things that I teach my kids is like, I send my kids pictures of me with magic and this and that. Yes, they like thumbsing it up, but I know that's going to affect them later on because they know their dad is dealing with, you know, high profile people, but they trust me. Right? So I was able to say, you know what? If I'm from the bloodline of the king, why am I out here doing this? Oh, now I see what the homies are seeing in the hood in me. So then I went full-fledged into the music and started pursuing that with the passion.
Man, can I stop right there?
Yes.
It's so powerful about how an identity shift takes place when you realize who you are.
Whose you are. Let's get it straight on this part, guy. He understood whose he was. He understood who his daddy is. I understand. We understand who our daddy is. So we must operate.
And guess what? My grandfather. So, you know, my experience is, you know, I partied with the best of them. I never been like the crazy drinking, druggy to where I'm like on the corner, but it's like I did it at the heights, and I was saying I was playing in Satan's castle, you know, and dancing around and having a good time, but it was always something that would pull me out. But my granddad never did drugs. He never drank. Not one bit of alcohol. And it was like to find all of these, and he was illiterate. He couldn't read or write. So he would just sing these things out of his head. My grandmother would write them down. So all of this stuff I was finding out I started walking away from what I thought was fun and getting in closer and closer into my purpose. Now then here comes, you know, fast forward, the future media experience and all of this. And it's like, now I'm here with DuQuan, and he finally told me his story, and I'm like, what would I do if my mom or my dad were gone? As emotionally as I am, because there's been times my heart's been broken in a relationship, my heart's been broken in a business deal, or my heart's been broken, period, by family, and then I'm on the bottom. You know, and I'm just beating myself up, and I'm just like kind of like this person that's like self-judgment, and you know, like, don't nobody love me? Why do I feel used and abused? Like when I started really telling DuQuan what I was going through. Like, he already knew. You know, this relationship it became more like him building a platform for me to step on into my purpose. And I really started to understand what was going on with me when I started to study the Bible in depthly. I always read the Bible, but then I started listening to other preachers talk about it. He gave me Miles Monroe.
Oh man,
Miles Monroe vision.
you already know.
And
Come on.
vision, like it just, I said, this is exactly what happened to me when I was sober for 60 days, because I lived by myself. I was in my crib, and I came out of my crib and I had a vision of me being on stage talking to kids and motivating people, but by the thousands. And DuQuan would always tell me, he's like, yo, your personality, sometimes you gotta pull back, you know. And I'm like, yo, it's just me. Like, nah, I'm telling you, you just gotta do. And then I realized, I said, yo, this voice, this message is for thousands. You know, I can get in here and I can talk to somebody and give them advice, and it'll probably make their head explode. Like, you know, DuQuan, like, yo, you just trying to pull back, you know, you just gotta just they get it,
ready.
you know. So it was like, you know, all of what I've been through, bringing me up to this point with this relationship, was a defining moment of my identity. Not only my royalty and my roots and all of that. It's like, you know, I came through my parents, but what does God want for me? Like they say, you know, you tell God your plans, he'll laugh, right? But God has a plan for you. And I feel like, you know, DuQuan and our relationship has put me in my purpose. So now I understand, like, where I'm going, you know, because of the vision. And I feel like we all have that ability. When we lay down and we go to sleep, we wake up with some type of idea, some type of thought, you know. And yeah, man, that's just where I'm at.
Wow, man. So when was that moment too, man, when, all right, so the identity shift took place, right? You started realizing whose you were, from a practical standpoint, right? We hadn't even gotten to the Lord yet, but when was that moment like when you was just like, okay, cool, man, you started to see God's hand in all of this? And because think about it for a second, though. I want to be real.
Keep it real.
Like, we're in a secular environment, right? Working with Busta, working with Tyrese, and I know Tyrese knows the Lord. He's very public about his faith. But in the music industry, where it's not as popular, you feel me? And there's so many distractions. It's so many distractions. Yes, bro.
I call it the devil's playground.
I'm telling you.
The music industry is the devil's playground. Why? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
And think about it, like he was the original worship leader. You
there
feel
you
me?
go.
So he finds his way into entertainment.
He has to. That's where the confusion lies. Yeah. The devil is in awe.
Okay, so go back to this though. Like,
and I'm sorry.
Man, look. Now we're talking.
I'm about to go deep.
When we talk about the enemy, the reason why he uses media, you think about it, like even going back to philosophy and like the ancient Greeks, right? Anytime they wanted to get a message out to the people,
on the horse.
Yes, they would use the musicians.
That's it.
Yeah. They would 100%. Use the actors. Yeah. They would use the Shakespeare's.
Yes.
Right? And so like it's the same thing.
Yes.
Because you take the propaganda and boom and
frequency. Yeah. That's what television is. Frequency.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
That got me on track.
No, seriously. Listen, I mean, I
can tell you some. You know, I know where the first time I engaged God in His voice. I would say when I was about 4 or 5 years ago, I lived in Israel for 4 years. I wasn't in the army. I was working for a big entertainment company over there, right?
Yeah.
And every night at 3:00, something would fall in the house, something would move, something. And I was just like, yo, what is going on? And I went to every part of Israel where Jesus is buried, Jerusalem, Akko, Dead Sea. I went to all over, and I felt like, you know, God was always like showing me different things at these sites that no one else was seeing. Like I would meet like the Ethiopian priest and I would get to study with them. And then I started reading the Torah and learning words in Hebrew and stuff like that. And God, I could hear God every night talk to me. And I did not really embrace it then. I heard it, but I didn't apply it. You see what I'm saying? All the stuff that I knew, like all of these biblical scriptures and all of this stuff that you learn all of these years, Aaron, but you never applied it, means nothing, right? And that's where the devil wants to keep you, right? He wants to keep you. You can have all the words you want, but with no action, it's nothing. So I feel like when I was in Israel, that was the time when God really started whispering, like, in my ear. Like, I'm going to talk to you now. I'm not going to show you anything. I'm not going to give you, pay, you can't make your rent this month and make it happen in 24 hours or make $30,000. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to really have a word with you. So that's when I really started hearing God for 4 years straight in Israel. Every time I landed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to taking that trip to Israel.
Got to, man.
I went to Jordan not too long ago. It's close enough. But I got to get over it.
The Dead Sea. You been to the Dead Sea?
I didn't get a chance to go to the Dead Sea.
You know that you can see Jordan and Israel's like right across the Dead Sea. So I used to float in the Dead Sea like.
Yeah, because I heard that you can't you can actually
see.
float. Like they have these things where you can lay back and lay.
No, you don't lay on nothing. You lay in the water. Your body. It's the lowest part of the planet. It's nothing. Nothing can live in that water. It's just
funny story is I love seafood, right? Coming from Houston. So when we get out to Jordan, I'm like looking for food and I saw shrimp on the menu and my host, I was like, I think I'm gonna get this, and it was like, hold on. Like, you do realize the closest body of water is the Dead Sea. Yeah. You really want some seafood? I was like, nah. It was like, nah. Lamb it is.
There you go.
My vegan brother, I know you can't hurt like nothing.
Save the animals, please.
Yeah, we will save the animals, man. Man, but Future Media has been doing phenomenal. I love it because you mentioned things like frequency and the power of influence and the fact that you guys were able to create a platform to control quality influence, right? Like, you get to pick and choose who you work with, so you're not just pushing whatever down people's throats, but you're being very responsible, right?
100%.
With your platform, because you've been called. Is that the reason why you guys decided to start Wealthflix? Or talk to me a little bit about that. You like that segue, don't you?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you hit it right on the head. You hit it right on the head. That was one of the reasons why we started Wealthflix.
Wealthflix is I would call it our university, right? Yeah. Our educational platform for kids. It's targeted towards kids, also adults, but it's basically an incubator for entrepreneurs, right? To basically breed the next generation of entrepreneurs, build them, raise them, give them the utensils, but create the environment, right?
Yeah.
Environment is everything. That's why the conference, was very effective. Is because we're not only doing a TED Talk meets masterclass. We're combining these two and putting these kids in the environment.
Yeah.
So that they're able to see Magic Johnson talk and then have a one-on-one with him, backstage in a private room, and being able to ask him the questions that they seek answers to. Because speaking to kids nowadays, they want to know what you did. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me what to do.
Like, tell me how.
How do I do what you do?
Yeah, which is what, you ever notice, I'm targeting some of these questions, like, okay, I love the abstract theoretical.
Yeah, let's get down to it.
I was like, nah, bro.
Sounds good. Yeah. Tell me what really happened.
I want to know how.
The birth of my kid and me saying, I got to get to it. I got to get to that money.
Come on.
I got to child.
That's what it is, and Wealthflix is, shout out to Chase Wembley, who introduced, DuQuan to Dakota Smith. DuQuan brought anything DuQuan's involved in, he brings me in. So I was able to meet, Dakota Smith, and been in business with DuQuan and Chase. And this thing was an idea in November.
Of last year?
Yes.
Oh, so this was the first one.
This is the first one.
Man, the way y'all had it, the way y'all presented it, looked like y'all had been doing it for years.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's what it is. It's basically an educational platform. Will be a website subscription based, but we're taking this experience to every town globally, Las Vegas, New York, London, Dubai, taking this platform and this message around the world.
Yeah.
What we believe is, and I also want to make sure you understand the target audience, and it's from 9th to 12th graders. So it's high school, right? And that's the extension of my other company, where we're doing 30 festivals and 30 surprise pop-up entrepreneur events. So what we do is we already donated let me get this right.
Yeah.
We already donated $60,000 to 60 different schools, $1,000 per school to the Entrepreneur Club.
Come on.
And what we're doing for 30 of them is we're doing a surprise pop-up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Candace Nelson, for example. She's the founder of Sprinkles. Daymond John, to these entrepreneur clubs in high school to bolster the popularity of that club.
Oh, yeah.
So in high schools, there's different clubs, right? And an entrepreneur club is one of them that gives the tools, that give the kids the tools they need to take risks when they get out of high school, right? Not just rolling into a regular job while you go to college, but maybe feed your passion while you're doing, your college work. And that's important. So we're targeting them, giving them the tools in high schools by doing that surprise pop-up event for them for 30 entrepreneur clubs and bringing in that celebrity to talk to them.
And that's, let them know when it's starting in September.
Yeah, this
September 11th.
September. Yeah, September 11th, 2023 is the entire 2024. We're not playing. It's about execution. It's not about just talking about it. It's about delivering.
Yeah.
So as he said, Wealthflix was born just out of relationships.
Okay. That's
So
what
I want to
Yeah,
make
where
sure
does it
we
come from?
understand that, right? So it came from my business partner again, and that's United Ventures. So it's a fund that purpose is to do good in the world. So it's a hedge fund basically that is built, well, let me not say that. It's a venture capital fund that's built with a group of men that invest their money into projects that are going to do good for the world.
Yeah.
So I always want to lay the foundation of why I get into things, right? So it was brought to me from my business partner that Wealthflix was a trademark, that this venture capital group would love celebrity influencers to teach or to be interviewed. Right? To be interviewed. I said, I'm extremely interested, and yes, we can do that for that fund, but we're going to need equity to sign that deal. Right?
Yeah.
So Dakota, which is our business partner, agreed to the equity that we asked for before we got out the gate, before we even started.
Yeah.
Right? So it was synergy from the beginning. And by the way, the second time we met, his shirt read, God is great.
Come on.
Okay. So I always got to throw that in.
Yeah.
Because that's the signs I pay attention to.
Yeah.
I need to know where what field I'm playing on. Whether you playing in on or not. The confidence to come in and, to do business in that state. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Because I do. It takes a lot. So just to wrap it up, moving forward with Dakota and Wealthflix, it was natural synergy because of the frequency he was already on, the equity he agreed to. It was all fair in our business, which obviously moves on to the talent and the business that we do with the filming, with the masterclass model, where we're going to educate the next generation and the world, period, on our platform.
Man, that's crazy. What were some of the successes that y'all experienced? Because this was just right around the corner.
Yeah.
What was the most proud moment for both of you? When it was all said and done, did you put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, right? There's a lot of contracts involved, a lot of phone calls, there's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows. I done put together a few events.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
But give me,
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth. This is when I felt at ease.
Okay.
When I knew that I got everybody that came to the conference back where they were from. Right?
Yes.
So when the conference was done that night and we were able to look at each other eye to eye and just go, like, this has been in development since November.
Yeah.
This conference has been in development since November. And for it to be over and for us to deliver what our purpose was, people think that, I'm glad that people think the information was great and the conference was big. We go to conferences, me and Aaron. We've spoken on plenty of panels at conferences. The goal with our first inaugural conference that we wanted to deliver was exactly what happened. It was the feeling that people walked away with.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
one
you always say
person
that. He always
has
says
said
that.
anything else, but it was an incredible experience. It was great.
Yeah.
What I wanted from that conference was the feeling to resonate. So we already know just by the demand for the second one in August of the people that we hold 3,000 seats for the second one. They're gone. They're gone already.
Dang.
So we already know what we created, and that feeling of information, feeling good, making sure everybody was taken care of from top to bottom, from Magic to the janitor that worked at Tile. We made sure everybody felt seen and heard.
Yeah.
And that's important to us. And the information, I mean, we dealt with the best of the best. Daymond is the best of the best. Magic, we don't have to talk about that, man. Right?
Yeah,
and everybody else that came up under it, between Roberto, Russell, Candace, Baron Davis, Sean Neff, Taylor Payne, everybody that participated.
And let me say this though, one thing that I would say I love the fact, and I think everybody needs to understand. Pay attention to when your friend, your brother, your homie, or whatever is putting you in a position of power. Everybody that showed up, I greeted them. He made sure of that.
Yeah.
He made sure of that.
Man.
From Magic to Candace to Daymond to Baron, like it was a time that when I forgot who it was. Daymond pulled up and it was like, he's not getting out the car until Aaron is here. And I'm like, I'm Aaron. And I was just like, that's when I realized what DuQuan was like when he was saying earlier. Like, don't pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the day-to-day living, right? And that's when I said, he's put me in a position of power. I got people texting me, like the actual celebrities, I won't say who, but they're contacting me. Good job. When is the next one? How can we be involved? He's always put me in a position to where they're going to know you. Yeah. And I want to say something on the spiritual side. From November till now, it's been a rough ride for me. I went through a lot. Like, I'm not saying like I'm free and clear and like I'm standing strong and I'm not emotional and the devil doesn't attack me. I know I'm special. I know I have a word inside me and I know God has a plan by the attacks that are on me.
You know who the best player on the team is because it's always double, triple guard.
I'm talking about like, being like, New Year's was a rough time for me. And that was right around the time Monies was wired and stuff. And DuQuan's like, as soon as I called him, I told him, hey, man, this is what he's like. This is what's happening. Where are you? I'm putting you on a plane. It's time to go. Someone that believes in you like that. And that's why I know God talks through people, and then there comes a time where you have to just understand like what God is doing for you. And you be honest, you hold yourself accountable, but you can't keep repeating it, right? Because eventually, the hurricane will come.
Yeah, I think that it's important to see and identify the power. I think we all understand his power right here, right? Yeah. It's the God in him, and it's just being a good steward and using it for good. Yeah. It's not a person that don't want to meet him. I want to meet Aaron. Right? So putting him in that position was easy.
Yeah.
He's an incredible person to meet. I want him a part of my team. He is a part of my team always. Like, he is that energy that I wanted that celebrity to meet first. Yeah. Those are my friends, right? They already trust me. I want them to see what we were building. Yeah. It was important for my celebrity friends to see what we were building and see the people that I trust, right? We didn't hire the traditional things and people around us. We surrounded ourselves with today's people. Kids, and we encouraged them to... I mean, he says kids, which is cool.
Young people.
Between 21 and 28, right? I surround myself with the next generation and even younger, right? And that's important to give them that guidance and let them see other people see Aaron and aspire to be them, right? The reason I sit here and I'm just keeping it real with my shades on is because I'm scared to death. This is not what I do. This is outside of my.
You do it well. You do it well.
Because you here in my hotel room and everything else.
Hey.
Like he said, I don't do that.
Like, let's go to the studio. I was like, no, we're going to the hotel room. I need you to go.
I love
go in there, brush your teeth.
Listen, this is why I'm here, because I'm scared to death. But some of the information that I got from the kids, who my target audience is, they say that it exudes confidence, because when you walk into a room with shades, you are somebody.
Yeah.
I am somebody. And I want you to know that. I walk in with God first.
Yes.
That's who leads me. So when I wear these shades and I come into a room or I'm delivering things, I want you to know, yes, this is not my comfort zone. I grew up in an era where we did not use cameras and social media.
Man.
This is terrifying, but I know what I'm doing. I'm living in my purpose, and I'm here to educate the next generation of entrepreneurs.
Man, it's wild, man. The impact is insane. And I'm super, super grateful to be in y'all's presence. You said something, I had to dig deep down in your timeline, but you said, I speak energy. I think that was what it was. I speak
Frequency,
energy.
period.
I understand, and I see that. I see that in your...
I speak in the matter of fact. It is. Because as we speak it,
it's
shall it be.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's a language.
Okay,
and I learned it as a DJ. You used
to DJ?
That's my first business was a wedding entertainment firm. So I started off DJing in clubs and all this other stuff. But then when I realized that brides pay a lot more than promoters, I was like, listen, I'm gonna go do this. But I learned it as a DJ. The energy. Like, I didn't have to be the most technically sound DJ, cutting up and scratching, but I could connect with people.
There you go.
It's that ability to drop that one record and that feeling you get when you it's the one, right? And you know it's the one, and it might not be the one for this group, but for that group, yes. You cut the music and they sing along with you, and you're like, that's the one. So speaking that energy, your ability to walk into a room and connect with somebody instantaneously, which I'm sure is the reason why he was like, Aaron, you the one.
Oh, for sure. Like I've always watched him. It's
My daughter,
he's been in such service of others, right? He can't help himself. He is a service provider. I watched him service different artists, different other people, different businesses, right? Well, right? They are very successful today, and he don't do it for himself. So I wanted to put him in a position where that he can excel for himself and service the landscape, service himself, service his family. He's good at helping everybody else. So I knew just giving him this opportunity it's not even me giving him any opportunity. Let's get this straight. All right. He earned it, right? He was divinely positioned into the time and place of what I needed. And I overlooked nothing, because when I ask, God delivers for me. Right? So purpose-driven people around me at all times. I can't do anything else. His love and his work ethic is what they needed to connect, because that's what this conference is about. So that's why that's why Aaron was the first person to greet my celebrity friends. It's important. It's important for them to get the energy of what we stand for. I'll put him in a room anytime to represent me. Right? He's teaching me. Each one teach one. I'm happy to be at this point, but what I've learned from him,
this is what I'm pushing.
this is what I don't do. Right?
I want people to know what I know.
Yes, bro, I'm telling you, man.
Like,
it's crazy. So I had a conversation with a friend earlier. And they're really big into, they're not an electrician, but they're familiar, right? So they were explaining to me about like how most things are grounded, right? You got the red wire, and I think it's the black wire. One of them, energy goes in. The other one, energy comes out.
That's right.
And so I do see how it's necessary for us to not only receive, but there's also an obligation to give.
Yes.
But then also making sure that we stay grounded.
Yes.
You feel me?
Too.
So, and I see that in this relationship in a bunch of different dynamics.
Exactly. And that's the thing, like, I'm learning every day. At even, 40-some years old, ideally in my mind, I'm 18. With that one last night, shout out to Red Cafe. But, staying grounded in your purpose and, casting your pearls amongst swine is the realest thing. Like certain, it's hard for me not to help. That's why, DuQuan's like, as you go into this journey in your purpose, you must limit yourself. There's certain people you don't need to talk to anymore. You have to pull back. As much as they need your help, you have, listen, you can give your message to a nation or a person. And you're a nation giving person now. And that's what I'm learning. And it's like, I'm learning as of last week. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be on your podcast and lie like I'm not going through it. Yeah. Like, I go through it, but I pull through it. I know where I'm going. You see what I'm saying? So every day I do something, it's not lasting a week. It's not lasting 3 days. It's getting shorter and shorter and shorter because I'm starting to realize in the moment of self-destruction, I'm asking God for construction. Like, come back and fix me, God. I'm begging you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's where I'm at. And I want to be honest. You're watching the growth happen right in front of you. It's just log on to my Instagram and you'll see it. Some days I don't want to post because I'm going through it. Or some days I'm just sitting meditating and talking to God and trying to figure out, like, why am I still casting my pearls? Why am I still looking in the mirror, not seeing that great person that everybody else sees? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I want everybody to know, like, this is a relationship that should be mimicked in your hoods and hoods. Look for your DuQuan. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, every great man had, of course, I have a beautiful woman, love her to death. I love my woman. But you have to have a John the Baptist. You have to, right? Yep. You have to have somebody that's going to be right there and like, yo, look, you're doing good, not, don't do that again. It's like, I've never heard him ever say that. He just like, okay, come on, let's go. Yeah. Come on, let's go. We moving. I'm like, well, but all right, you told me what it is. Okay, but look, you just lock in on your purpose. Come on.
Yeah, that's it. Just
you know what I'm saying?
Again, which you're able to do because you experienced, like you said, you had that support system in the family when you thought you didn't, but the people pulling you. You know what I'm saying?
My friends is my family.
Yeah, man.
I think that something just to touch on what Aaron said, I think, which is extremely important. I think that you always need to find, right? And it's hard, the next generation, find that supportive friend or someone that sees your light, or I was going to say, I can say this, the God in you.
Of course you can.
I don't want to limit my conversation. I want to speak freely.
That's what we here to do.
There you go. So I seen what y'all see, the God in him, right? So that's all. And it's hard for us to see who we are and what we do. Yeah. So the compliment here is, I see his greatness. Yeah. It's just about putting him around other people that's going to see his greatness and not abuse it or not want it for himself. And that's the perfect platform, High School Nation, to go and speak to 3,000 kids 5 days a week, 7 weeks out of the year, starting September, for him to be. Yeah. He's such an inspiring person with his message and his energy. These kids need to relate to that. Yeah. They don't want to hear what they couldn't do, can't do, somebody who don't understand what they're going through. I have so much empathy for everyone. Yeah. Because you never know what anyone is going through. So I don't judge. Yeah. Right? I just know what the mission is and what we need to do. And some of the habits that I want to say, that pulled me along the way and that kept me solid or grounded, as you would say, is coming up with incredible habits. Whether you like it or not, you have to figure out something that you can do on a consistent basis besides eat and sleep. Right? So for me, it was rising early and just going to the gym. Now, I was 245 pounds, right? But it was all mental, right? It was just about making sure no matter what, I go and I just walk on that treadmill.
Man,
even if it's for 10 minutes.
It's the environment. Environment.
It gives you time to center yourself and to do something for you. So the gym wasn't for the muscles, the gym was for me. Right? Because it was paying my body, my spirit, my temple back. Right? Yeah. And then the next thing, what I feel is important, it's just something that was consistent for me. at a young age was church.
Come on.
Was being drove to church, right?
Yeah.
So church was easy for me because it was home. It was comfort, right? So if Sunday would come and I was in New York or wherever I go, I find a church to go to. Hence, we come into your service tomorrow.
Let's get it.
Right? I come to find where that energy is, but we do have ours online now.
Yeah.
With the new age, so I make sure that I get that word from encouraging people, and we have a new pastor at Faithful Central Bible Church who I love dearly, John Paul Foster. Tutelage though, that's important, right?
Yeah.
So once again, consistency.
The whole
there you go.
Giving it out.
There you go. Consistency. I watched my elder pastor who baptized my son, my 14-year-old son, raise him. And I see what that fruit is. He's holding. He's being trusted. So that's kind of like, the tie-in to where I'm at with Aaron, right? He's been under some great tutelage, which is Chase Wimberly, which is my business partner, NBA, Stanford University, many years, my success in the music industry, many years. Between us two, information on the technical side and the digital side, more information compound on business, what he already understands. It's just setting the next generation up for greatness, and he's that voice.
I ask everybody this. I don't care who it is, right? Whether it's pastors or artists, and we've had a lot of cool folks on the show. And I'm always curious because we're in this like hustle culture era, right? Where it's like I'm gonna grind, sleep when I die, right? Like I'm gonna put in all this work, and I do believe faith without works is dead. And both of you gentlemen are just from the short amount of time we've been able to share, clearly super intelligent, innovative, strategic, creative. Like you have all the human things it takes to be successful, right? But there's also this component that I believe that our human ingenuity can only take us so far. How has your faith, and either one of y'all could tap on this, right? How has your faith propelled you to the success that you experience now?
You know what? Let me just say this. I'm ready for this one because I think people need to understand what they're reading, right? Mm-hmm. You have to understand that God gave you all of the messages, gave you the instructions in Genesis.
Yeah.
Right? He said, let us make man in our image and our likeness. Well, image in Hebrew is ish, right? Or image or likeness, one of those means ish. And it means ish is like the functionalities. So if you have the functionalities of God, you can function like him, right?
Yeah.
And then God said, the word was with God, God was the word, and the word became flesh. Well, word in Hebrew is expressed idea. So if I'm like someone who can manifest, right? It is about faith.
Come on.
Faith is, I have faith that I can what? Manifest. So once you know that you can manifest your expressed idea, all of this is yours to take. So like DuQuan would always say, I'm already at the finish line of the conference. And I used to be like, man, I'm working on these contracts and this runner show, and I'm dealing with
this. Say I'm doing the contracts.
But then it came to a point where it's always, I feel like there's a time that God will allow that part of you to become one with your vision, right? You just have to be in the right mind frame to receive it. Everybody has faith.
Yeah.
Faith in what though? Right? Faith that you're going to make that money, or the expressed idea to make the money, right? So once you understand the word of God, in the definition of these words, see, I did studies and I took certain things out of the Bible and said to the, Ethiopian priests, like, what does this word mean in Hebrew? And they would explain it to me, and I say, oh my God, like, I am like God. I get it. I get it why Jesus said I am. I understand why God came in the physical to show us our capabilities, but to understand how we feel, right? God slept, right? God drank wine. God smiled. God said, whoa, which was one of the worst words in Hebrew, which means damn you. He cried and he died. So we go through all of these different emotions. I think I was able to understand that the word of God is my word. So if I speak things into existence, that's life or death. And that's why I have what I have. That I spoke, when I saw your platform, I looked, I said, we're going to be on that. This is an expressed idea, a manifestation. So I think it's more like, you have to embrace your vision. Vision is the most powerful thing on the planet. And also, you have to embrace what you're saying and embrace your name. In Hebrew, your name is everything. That's why when they say, hey, what's your name? They're asking, what are you? And like whatever the name of the thing is the name.
You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
So I have twins, right? I've got 5 kids, but I have twins. They're 6 now.
I already talked. Yeah.
They're 6 now. So I have twins. We named them Daymond John, John after my dad who passed away, and Kyron Ray after their mom's sister who passed away. Can you tell me why both of them act like the people we named them after?
Wow.
Believe that?
And I don't believe that that's just some crazy coincidence.
It's not.
And we were doing that to honor them
That's
in their
exactly
passing.
what it is.
But they both have and embody their personalities.
You just said something that
crazy.
you have to understand what you created, right? He just said the name of the thing is the name.
The thing is the name.
You just created that thing.
Just like your daughter.
You honored them, and they honor them.
Yeah.
That's it. It's really just that simple. Don't get spooked out.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what the church folks do. I just keep it simple to the audience.
Real.
To my,
it's so real.
Yeah. To my
I spent so many years feeling like I didn't have a legitimate Christian experience because I never had like the dream where God visited me. I never had the out of body experience. I never spoke in tongues.
Yeah.
So I spent years like feeling like I had an illegitimate encounter with God.
No way.
And God was like, no, like you have more faith because you haven't had one of those experiences. You haven't tasted, seen, touched. You didn't put your finger through the holes in my hands.
And then it's a miracle.
Yeah, like no, he's like it requires more faith. And so having that experience, like when you said it's not spooky, it's just real life.
And think, what I studied in my studies, God stopped with the miracles a long time ago. He stopped. Split the seas and all of this. He said, you know what? I'm going to come down there and I'm going to show you some basic things because actually he did a lot of miracles through Jesus.
Yep.
And it's like people still didn't change.
He said he's going to do miracles no more. I forgot the scripture.
Yeah.
He says he's done with that. He's only showing his believers the power.
Yeah.
Right? So it's us who believe in the power.
I've already done enough.
You
don't believe by now.
There you go.
All of creation.
Right? He said he's not. He's a jealous God. He said, I will not show you anymore. I'm only here for my believers. So that's when Aaron says, I speak because I already see it and I already know it.
It's done.
So from the time we get into it, I already know that I have a trusted sign. So I'm already at the end. And I just want to make sure that that ending is set up right? So I'm already at the success when I talk to him and tell him that I've seen it. We done shook hands. It's a success. We moving on to the next. We got a 60-city tour that we got to plan. He's like, well, I'm diving in.
You should be on that list. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You'd be mad if it's not.
Yeah, you make sure.
No, it's LA, but you got to come out.
No.
LA. He's got to come out.
No, we definitely going to make sure that we make pit stops in Houston to make sure that we service this community. So what I wanted to say too also, right? You said it throughout this. This is divine intervention, right? This is the power of what this is. I promise y'all watch this relationship from here. It's going to grow. Why? Because your service just needs to be known. You just need to be, this is a choice we're going to make to steer this in the ears of people that need to hear it. And I think, you're so relatable. We're going to talk off camera just because your energy is what I want the next generation to feel, touch, know that it's possible. What you're doing here, how you are motivating me to continue to motivate others to just sit in their purpose and, not be afraid to have these kind of conversations and put the Lord first.
I'm telling you, when Aaron and I talked, the reason we do this is because we know that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb. But we don't stop there. The blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And not only do other people overcome when they hear it and get inspired and motivated, but there's also something that goes on the inside of you when you share it as well. You overcome by sharing your story, right? It's like a reflecting on how far God has brought you. And then we joked around too, and it's like, this is like the Bible to be continued.
Yeah, and I think,
you know what I'm saying? Like, he's still writing his
I love
story.
that. That's the heavy party. Yeah,
He's
I
still
love
writing his
still
story
writing, yeah.
through you, through you, through me.
Wow.
And I think like we need to make it
That's
basic.
a sermon.
We need to make.
I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah,
Your
that
life is a sermon.
Yeah, it is.
Your life is a sermon.
The Bible
It's just who's going to be mentioned and who's going to do the works. Yeah.
You just told me that my mind is blown.
Yeah.
He's
like
not
you
done.
tell us
He's not done. No,
I
agree.
continues. That's a whole that life just want me. I want to get up and run right now.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
It's true.
The story is being told through us because
they didn't realize that they were writing a story, like God was using them in that moment.
No.
They had no idea that centuries later, this group of theologians were going to compile these letters and epistles and songs.
He was fisher.
Yeah.
Fishers of men.
Yeah.
He fished men. Jesus fished men. They had no clue that they was going to have those experiences and then write about them.
Speaking of fishing of men, you posted something the other day. It might have been recent. God is my manager.
Yeah.
So he told them they were fishers of men because they were fishermen. You, sir, are a manager, and you literally said, God is my manager.
Hello?
So, like, you're managing people, but you're managing them in a way that brings God glory.
I wanted to say this, though, about the faith. And I got to say this to anybody that's, when I was going back to the name. Your name is powerful. So, Lil Murder, Lil Killer Gun Lock, Lil C-Walk, D-Walk, all of y'all going right where your name is going to put you. Like, my name is Aaron. The brother of Moses. Moses stuttered. Aaron was very vocal. I'm very vocal. My middle name is Joseph, the carrier of God. So
Your middle name is Joseph?
Yes, Aaron Joseph. Really?
David Joseph.
Look at
King David.
Look,
Right?
listen.
So I'm saying like Aaron Joseph is in bold. My name is they say is like a powerful name in Israel. Aaron Joseph.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So once I identified my name, the definition of my name, I became my name. So that's a part of faith too. I used to be Lil AK. Believe it or not, in the hood, the homie, Lil AK. So it's like, if I would have continued down that road at 40-something years old, I will become whatever my name is. So in order to lock in the faith, identify the word of God, identify your name, define out the definition, become your name. And single your name out. You don't have to be such and such king of this and this and that or this and that. Look at the Bible. Michael, Matthew, Aaron. It's like go to the singularity of your name and find out the definition of your name. Study that word, but study your name. That's why I tell parents. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you name your child will become. So that's why my daughter's Ezra. God helps. She knows that from birth. So she's helping. She's always a helper. I want to help my mom. I want to help this. I want to help my little brother. Whatever the name of the name is a serious statement which will give you faith. And it'll get you into your purpose. So I just want to say that to the young kids, man. Like, be careful what you call yourself. You see it happening in rap music. All your little guys, little Zay Zay, little Toonk Toonk, and little Murder Mook, and Mocky Mock, and all them guys, they gone.
No, it's crazy,
careful.
man. Be careful, because what you name yourself.
I think to simplify it.
No, there's like you said, it's not spooky. It's
not.
It is.
They understand that.
There's life and death in the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
What you call somebody, you can speak life, you can speak curses, you can speak life, you can speak death. Man, I want to wrap this up because y'all have hinted to this a couple of times about knowing, like, seeing the end. Like knowing the end, right? It's funny because my mother-in-law, she likes to watch, like, she loves the Rockets. Why y'all laughing? Y'all laughing? I'm getting offended.
Let me say, they are okay. They're not doing the greatest.
No, we not.
But we not.
I don't watch sports, me.
But I
know.
go ahead.
Somebody asked me, like,
My girl watches sports more than me.
I was like, for the Heat. They were like, why don't you love the Rockets? I'm like, Jimmy Butler is from Houston.
That's right.
But anyway, my mother-in-law loves the Rockets, and she's one of the only people I know that will watch a game after it has happened. So like if she misses the game, she'll have it recorded, and she'll go home and watch it as if it didn't happen.
Right.
Right. And I already know the outcome because I'm on
Right.
IG. I done seen what happened. This was back when we had Harden. Harden had like 50 turnovers. We done lost the game in the fourth quarter. We were up by 20, or we ended up winning. Right.
Yeah.
She'll watch the game as if it never happened.
Word.
Don't tell me. And in my mind, I'm watching it with her, right? And let's say it's a game that we won, and James, turned the ball over, and she's fussing, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it happened." In my mind, I'm like, "It's all right, they won," but she don't know that. So you talk about knowing the ending throughout this whole conversation quite a bit. What does that ending, like, we're gonna end it with this, no pun intended. What does that ending look like for you guys? Like, if you had to wrap it up right now. Like, what does the end look like?
Like this, for me. I'm outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I'm sitting with godly men. I'm ready right now, God, if this is your will.
Yeah.
Because we sitting in his throne.
Yeah.
That's it for me. I know my legacy will live on.
Yeah.
But if it had to end right now, this is it. Being uncomfortable and comfortable.
The end for me will leading up to the end is I will be one of the most impactful and be a part of the army of motivational speakers and will change the world with the word of God and the word of life and entrepreneurship and mentorship.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
There you go.
Yeah.
You have the power to manifest that, to create that, man, brothers, I thank y'all so much for just being in the greatest city in the world, coming to Houston.
That's right.
It's sitting with little old me. You know,
I ain't no little old you. You got Pastor Keon, Eric Thomas. Come on, man. It's an honor to be on the platform.
It was an honor.
I know that so many people are going to be inspired and motivated and blessed. I know because personally I was. And so I just appreciate you guys being open, honest, transparent, and just keep it up, man. So anyway, man, before we go, share with us just real quickly, how can we stay tapped in? IG, social, Facebook. We got to do all the marketing stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got to do it.
First off, you can reach us at futuremedia.tv. That's at futuremedia.tv. Follow the Instagram page. Also, Wealthflix.io is on Instagram. Wealthflix.io. My social media is at I am AARON BOLDEN. I am Aaron Bolden. You can reach me there. And Aaron Bolden at futuremedia.tv is my email.
Yeah, you can reach me at I am DuQuan Brown on Instagram, Facebook, or just Google DuQuan Brown. Yeah, that's it.
Just go.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, man.
It's real,
Love
man.
you.
Well, guys, we just broke down the breakthrough with two of the coolest people on the planet. It is going down, and we will see you next week.
God bless you.